That's a hell of a long applause. Welcome to the best streaming Wednesday night show that has anything to do with drones. It's critically acclaimed. Actually, that's really not true. I don't know if that's true. Anyways, alrighty. We have a awesome show prepared for you tonight. We actually did some prep work. We have what I consider a pretty awesome guest. You may have differences of opinions, but I think it's going to be a great show. Hopefully a lot of information will get out there and some useful information that you can take away and have a little bit better knowledge in regards to flying your drone safely, legally, and all that fun stuff. With that being said, let me go ahead and let's bring in producer Paul.
What up?
What's going on, Paul?
Oh, man. First of all, anybody who's having problems tonight with the stream, and buffering and issues and stuff like that, or errors, it seems that YouTube might possibly be having issues tonight. So it's not on our end. It's not Paul's internet, I promise. It's not Paul's internet.
I did see that. When I first clicked on the stream, that I had to refresh the page again in order for it to function properly. So YouTube may be having issues. I don't know. We're not going to really worry about it because reality is, even if YouTube has issues and nobody watches, guess what I'm going to do? I'll download the stream and I'll just re-upload it so you can watch it later on. So there we go. So there's that. But also Jake said he has issues, and Jake's in Alaska. Everybody from Alaska typically has issues. So there's that. So how about this? We'll go ahead and bring Vic Moss in. How about that, Paul?
Let's bring him in.
All righty. Vic. His audio was working.
It was working. Vic,
I think you're muted, Vic.
How about now?
Now you're not. Now you're not muted. There it is. Actually sounds really good
on the Zoom.
Well, that happens.
Yeah,
so Vic, let's get to the most important piece of information of tonight.
And what would that be?
What are you drinking tonight, Vic? A Fat Tire, Paul.
Yeah, I love Fat Tire.
Okay.
It's a Colorado beer.
Okay.
Now, true, it's owned by Anheuser-Busch now, but still, it started out as a Colorado beer.
So it's a Colorado beer, but we'll allow it. I am drinking Hazy Days IPA. This is a Richmond, Virginia. A subscriber sent this to me.
Nice.
There was more. There was more, but some of them didn't survive the trip.
Oh dear.
But you know what? It's a great beer, I think, anyways. So Vic, what part of
Never had it.
Colorado are you in?
Just outside Denver in Lakewood.
Okay.
Mhm.
Beautiful area up there.
Oh, I love it here. I can see the Rocky
Absolutely
Mountains out my
gorgeous.
bed window. Very nice place to live.
Cold? It's cold there, right, Vic?
Oh no, it's going to hit 100 tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Man, I was up there. What was it? I don't know, maybe 2 months ago, month
Yeah, you're
ago.
in Summit County.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
my
was
old stomping grounds. That's where I grew up.
freezing. Beautiful place. Probably one of the most
Beautiful.
beautiful places I've ever been. I would say, anyways. But absolutely beautiful place.
Mm-hmm.
So, Vic, some people know who you are. Not
Mhm.
everybody. There are people that have been under a rock. They may or maybe say, "Well, who is this guy? Who is Vic Moss? I hear this name. I don't really know who he is." So, give people, like sort of the quick and dirty who you are.
Quick and dirty. Drone pilot since 2014, legally since 2016.
Okay.
And let's see, what else am I? Obviously, a DAC member, so I'm on the Drone Advisory Committee, FAA Safety Team Drone Pro. So I get to help educate people, including police departments. I got to do that this last week, or no, I'm sorry, this last month. We got to sit down and educate a local police department on what to do when they get called on a drone call. And then also, I am the COO and Vice President of Drone Service Provider Alliance. We're a group of gentlemen and a lady who work hard to try and make sure that the regulations aren't really bad that different states and the federal government put out. So we advocate on behalf of small and medium size drone service providers.
Okay. And to top it off, I know you're being modest, but you're also a very talented real estate photographer at that.
Architectural photographer, but sure, you're a talented real estate photographer. I watch your stuff, dude.
But I always admire your work, though. I think
Yep.
it's very clean and crisp, and I just that's a whole new level of photography. But kudos on that.
I've
what
been
do you
doing it
shoot
for
with? I'm
32
curious.
years, so I better have it done right by now.
Yeah, I definitely do. Paul, what'd you say, Paul? What does he shoot on?
What does he shoot with?
Let me
for
guess.
photography?
Don't say it. I think he's a Nikon guy.
Does the Nikon box behind you have anything to do with that guess?
Probably not. No, I didn't see that until you pointed that out. But I just
Yep.
you had a Nikon guy written all over your face.
Yeah, probably old and white.
You still on a DSLR?
A white beard is what I meant. Now, come on.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah, no, I've been shooting Nikon since I started this crazy business. Yep, love it.
a lot of people. Once they get stuck on Nikon, that's where they land.
Well, when you
So-
got the amount of money I've got invested in glass, I'm not changing
Oh
bodies.
yeah, you can't, yeah. That's what a lot of people don't understand is you really can't change course once you go down that path. So a couple of topics I want to discuss. I
Mhm.
want to talk about drone service providers, but we'll get there. But we're going to go through sort of the lineage of things. So
Sure.
you're on the DAC, which
Mhm.
is the Drone Advisory Committee, and that consists. Now the FAA obviously looks at that committee when they're looking to make rules. They're using you all as far as feedback and sort of
Mhm.
polling you for advice and direction on where to go with things.
Right. They it's it's set. What we're talking about is set by the FAA. So we don't have anything. We can't say, hey, we want to. Although Kenji did last time, so that was kind of neat. He suggested something, and they'll put together task groups.
Okay.
The first one was the whole gender neutral thing. You can read into that what you want.
Sure.
And then this last time we did Kenji's on a safety mitigation type task group, and I'm on the K-12 task group where we're going to try and integrate UAS aviation into the K-12 STEM programs, or at least we
Nice.
don't try to do it. Obviously, we just we sit down and we say, hey, what's the objective? Let's see how we can help the FAA get this set up, because that's the path to aviation careers these days.
Right. Got to start with the kids.
Mhm.
Got to get them interested any way possible, and hopefully the more kids that get interested in it, less issue we'll have as far as legislation goes later on down the road.
That's not, I didn't think of that. That's very good. I just
mean,
think
we're
of the
building
fact that we have
tomorrow's
pilot
pilots.
shortages.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah, it's great.
Well, you got to think of it like this. Everybody's going to take their own separate path.
Mhm.
And the way I see it and the way some of these laws spring up, it's almost like some people are paranoid of drones just because of a lack of education from certain lawmakers across the land. So anything you can do to mitigate that in the future,
Mhm.
make the battles a little less drastic, I think is a good idea. So
Oh yeah, no, it's a great idea. Absolutely. Yeah. And
So-
if they come up through it, yeah, they'll understand things.
So the trust test, I'm assuming that you were on the committee at the point that this was being talked about. Yeah. No.
Nope. This actually is from
Okay.
2018.
Hmm,
Yeah, this was
interesting.
this was required in the 2018 FAA Reauthorization Act as part of
They don't move
the
very fast at all.
recreational rules. So no, I was not on there then. So
Okay.
yeah, the FAA
So
they don't move fast. They had 180 days. Took them a little longer.
yeah, I see that. So
but the Congress required it that to fly under recreational rules, you have to have this test. They called it I knew this was going to come up. The operator must have passed an aeronautical knowledge and safety test described in subsection G, blah 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 blah. So the Congress said, FAA, make this test and require it. So the FAA did.
what's your thoughts on that test? Obviously, I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea. It's mandated, obviously.
It's mandated. It's a good idea, but I feel like the delivery of the test is a little goofy because you may not necessarily know. If you walk into a store tomorrow, you walk into a Best Buy, you buy this drone. Best Buy guy is not going to say, "Hey, by the way, before you fly this, you may want to look into this trust test." There's no, they're not going to tell him that. They're not going to know.
Right.
They're going to take the money and say, "Mr. Customer, would you like to buy our extended warranty?"
Exactly.
They're not going to
like
talk
some
about
cards
any.
with that. How
Exactly.
about extra batteries? That's their job.
There's nothing that they're going to say to prompt somebody to go take this test. So, I guess I should say, what are people doing to advocate this or try to get these new pilots? Because this was a question I asked everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I asked Greg, I said, "Hey,
Greg was on your show. Absolutely.
I said, what were you doing to advocate this?" He's like, "Well, besides, running Facebook ads and, trying to get good SEO, he goes, there's really nothing you can do in this instance."
Mm-mm.
I mean,
No, what you do is things like this. Greg hits the airwaves. I hit these, the forums,
Sure.
things like that, where you just, it's up to social media to get this stuff out.
Yeah.
We were on a call today with the FAA roundtable that we're trying to figure out, what's the best way to educate people like this to get these kind of things out in the open public. Because you go on the forums now, it's like, what's trust? So then you got to start all over again, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and I'm sure it gets redundant having to keep explaining. That's one thing I don't do. I never do the forums anymore. I feel like since Facebook groups have taken over, I feel like the forums are almost like a sort of a dying thing nowadays.
There's the pilots forum. We like Mavic Pilot, Phantom Pilot, and Commercial Pilot.
Yeah.
They're real good. They do a lot of that kind of stuff. So that's helpful. They don't get the traffic Facebook does, obviously.
Sure.
But yeah, they're just as good. I'm on there fairly often as well.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. And that is mandated. So you got to get the test, and you got to hold on to your certificate. And obviously nobody's hanging on to any data. I know that was a big concern we talked to a lot of people on was, I don't want to give up my information. And I sort of did some super sleuthing and just looking around the websites, and nobody looks like they really are asking for a tremendous amount of information across the board. The most I see is an email. And I think if anybody's really that concerned, make yourself a burner email if you're just that concerned about the email. I mean,
right. Nothing gets, I'm sure Greg went through all this too. Yeah, nothing gets sent to the FAA except the alphanumeric number, which always led to the inevitable discussion of, well, then you can just forge it. Yeah, you can. Why? It takes longer to forge the document than it does to take the stinking test and print it out. I mean, it's just dumb.
And that's the case. I mean, the trust test is incredibly simple to take. Literally, it took, I took about 6 of them over the past week from various locations. And I just wanted to see consistently how fast was I able to complete this across all these different websites. And on average, just having basic common sense, not even sitting there reading or listening to any of the presentation, I was able to accomplish it in about 15 minutes or less.
Yeah.
In most cases, it was just how fast they let me click to the next button was how fast I was getting it done.
Which I don't recommend if you're new. If
you're new, obviously, yes, you want to make sure you listen if you are new, because there are a lot of people, we see it all the time, just making some bonehead decisions, and they've been flying for a while. And with every introduction of a new drone, the new hype, we see another idiot.
Yep, with the mini SE coming out, that'll be interesting.
So that's priced at $299, the mini SE. And that's going to really reach a whole new level of people that once probably wouldn't, even consider a drone at any point.
Mm-hmm.
And
absolutely.
that's 250 sub 250 grand drone. You still have to take the trust exam to fly that, correct?
Correct. Yeah, there's no weight limit on the trust. Even if you're flying over 55 pounds, you still need the trust.
So if it flies, you need to take the trust exam.
Don't quote me on that, but yeah, I think
we won't quote you on that.
Actually, yes, we do, because I had a quote from one of the FAA folks about that. So yes.
Okay, so here's a good question. Guy asks, Texas Arc drone guy says, people ask, why take the trust if there is no fine or penalty? It's a good question.
That's a hard question.
If you have some integrity, you should. It's the law, obviously.
Sure.
But yeah, let's be brutally honest here. No one's going to run around looking for your trust stuff. But there's going to be the law enforcement personnel are going to be educated in this. So they're going to, if somebody gets out on a phone, a drone call, cop shows up, if he's done the training or has been through the training or even has a hint of it,
Sure.
he'll ask for your trust, and you legally have to show it to him. If you don't have it, that's a red flag. And at that point, it's just like, okay, well, you're going to probably have to report you. FSDO's going to give you a call and say, go take the trust. And you go, okay, sorry, blah, 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 done. But it's free insurance against a hassle. I think
Gotcha.
that's probably the best way to put it.
Now, in another question I was often asked recently in the latest video we did on the trust was, people were trying to understand, as a 107 pilot, the way they wrote this, that if you were going to fly for fun, you still have to take the trust exam.
Ish.
I'm sort of, I don't know. I think that's sort of silly. I think with that one, I don't know if they would really pursue anything though.
Well, it's a good way to look at it. And the problem with this is we overthink it. Because whenever the FAA puts something out, not whenever, most of the time when the FAA puts something out, we have to overthink it in order to understand it. So we have to go, okay, this means Y. What about X and Z? Do we, how far away X or do they weigh Z do we go to really understand this rule? There's two rules to fly under. We're gonna forget, public COAs. We're gonna forget 333s, because if you've got one of those, you don't have to worry about any of this garbage. You can fly under 107, or you can fly under 44809, which is the exception rule. If you have your 107 and all of your recreational flights are going to fall under that umbrella of 107 regulation, don't take the test. You don't need it. Just don't take it, because you're still flying under 107 as a recreational pilot with your 107 certificate. You're allowed to do that. Every flight does not have to be recreation or 107 flight. But let's say you're out flying with your friends and somebody comes out with a Mavic SE and it's like, oh, hey, I haven't flown that. Can I fly it? Well, I've got it registered recreationally. Guess what? You can't fly it, because now you're not flying a registered drone under 107. Is the FAA going to come out and slap handcuffs on you? No, obviously not. But so if you're flying outside that umbrella of 107, you can't fly the recreationally registered drone. You can't fly your friend's 57-pound homemade drone that flew over Tucson for an hour and a half. You can't fly those with the 107, so you have to fly them with a 44809 trust. And we're literally just take the stupid thing.
I know there's a lot of
bad deal.
No, I think a lot of people they see this as another form of regulation. They see this as another rule. There's a lot of conspiracy theories. I look at it this way. This is the way I've always looked at anything government, is that I'm just a tiny ass grain of rice. You know what I mean? Unless if I make enough noise, nobody's gonna really care. And I don't really. I mean, have I broken rules? Probably. But, it's not a rule. We've all done it. It's like speeding. You don't turn your signal on. Florida, your turn signal is optional. But
if you're over 75, it's on for the left turn the whole time anyway.
I mean, but it is what it is. I mean, I think that people have a bad sense of what the FAA actually is, based upon, the few occurrences where somebody has been fined. We look at the exceptions and then say, well, this is now the rule, when it's just, that's not really the case. No. That's just not really the case. So,
no, it's not.
Yeah, I've got links in the description of all these future videos. So if you want to try to take the trust exam, you haven't taken it, take the 15 minutes out, go ahead and take it. I don't care where you take it. Just take it. It doesn't matter. Like, it's super, super simple. And just any amount of knowledge is good knowledge, I think, at this point.
Absolutely. Unless you're flying under 107 and do it regularly, when you take the trust, you're going to learn something.
So
It's just that simple.
here's another great question from the chat. Lee Bessing asked, Vic, do we need to have a second registration with the FAA for recreational if we already registered as a 107 and have all of our drones registered with them?
No.
There you
No.
go. So answer is
FAA
no.
wants one registration number on your drone, and that's either going to be your recreational number, your FA number for recreational, or your FA number or N number if you've gone that route on your commercial. And you can fly commercially registered drones recreationally. You just can't fly recreationally registered drones commercially. So there's no need. Same thing with you. If you've got an AMA number, don't put your AMA number and your FA number on there.
It's just one or the other.
Yeah. Put your FAA number and your phone number on there.
So so trust is like the normal driver's license. Yeah, I would say trust is like a normal driver's license. If you want to compare 107, 107 would be like, yeah. I mean, that's a good way to compare
the commercial driver's license. That's sort of a big stretch, but that's a good analogy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to break it down, somebody can. Yeah, I mean, I think there's just confusion between the two, and I think more so it's just because of how they've implemented it. There's nothing really linking it back to somebody. I'm waiting to see somebody tattoo their trust number on their arm. I mean, if you get your trust number tattooed on the arm, I'll send you a shirt or something. I don't know. Don't do that though. Don't do that in case they need to be renewed or something. That'd be horrendous.
No, they do not need to be renewed. One time. The only time you have to renew it is if you lose it, because you can't go back and reprint it.
But if you tattoo that, you'll never lose it.
That's right. That's right. But good luck letting the cop take that with them when they need to file a report.
That is true.
Hang your arm in the window. Say, okay, hurry up.
Cut it off.
So something else that's been coming up, and what we're just going to touch on, the FPV aspect of things too. Something I keep seeing a lot of comments in my videos is, hey, where's your spotter? Where's your spotter? So break that down for me, from a term of, FPV, because now all of a sudden we have a lot of new FPV pilots with the introduction of the DJI FPV drone. Mm-hmm. You yourself, you've got bitten by the bug as well. So, we all fly, we have to run these jobs. Where does the FAA stand with that? I've asked this question a couple of times. I've gotten different responses in that.
You've asked the FAA different times and gotten different
responses? No. Experts in the industry. So I'm asking you as an expert in the industry.
Awesome. The fun word there is co-located. What you have to do is you have to have a VO, so a visual observer, standing co-located, so within touching distance-ish.
Okay.
It can be, there's no definition of co-located. You can that's a little, there's some gray area there.
Gotcha.
That has to be able to see the drone at all times, actually has to see the drone at all times. And then you, as the pilot or the flyer, whatever you want to call yourself, you have to have the ability to see the drone at all times. So that means if something goes wrong, you lose your feed, your VO has a heart attack and dies, whatever. You have to be able to take your goggles off and find the drone and fly it home. So that's the legal standing. Let's just say that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you feel, and I ask you, and you can answer this or not, do you feel like that rule maybe possibly needs to be amended? Because, flying FPV now, you have flown quite a bit now, and you sort of see the awareness that you have as you operate one of these crafts in comparison to, let's say, a Mavic. I feel like flying these, I have better awareness of my surroundings and what's happening. I feel like you're more in tune with what's happening.
I'm not, but
okay.
I don't have the hours y'all have on. I mean, I blow grits as an FPV pilot. I make no bones about that. Most of those drones behind me don't fly anymore. And I think that I'm not going to have that visual awareness, that situational awareness, simply because I'm focused on where the drone is going.
Sure.
Others aren't. They're going to be a lot more. They're going to be a lot more aware. Do I think the rule needs to be amended? Absolutely, 100%. But it's the one we have right now.
Sure.
I would like to see things like shielded operations. I know,
Yes.
I know our
Thank
friend
you.
XChet is always pushing that, which I
But
get
you know,
it. I
it
get
makes it makes sense. It makes
Mhm.
sense. You know, if we're flying below the tallest object that we're near, and if they're saying, okay, you have to be within, I don't know, a 400-foot radius of X tallest object,
Mhm.
90% of the flights that I do, and I mean this 100%, if I'm taking up an FPV drone,
Mhm.
it is very, very seldom that I exceed 50 feet. It's very
Exactly.
seldom. It's very seldom I exceed 50 feet in elevation, unless if I'm doing something that warrants it. And usually, again, I'm near a mounting side where
Mhm.
I'm still below the tallest object. I think shielded operations absolutely need to be a thing. I think that would also mitigate other concerns. You know, when remote ID actually becomes a thing, because if you're below
Yep.
that elevation, then you're safe and clear of any sort of air traffic at that point.
Yep. And notify and fly would be another one, especially once RID
Yeah.
comes out. I
Yeah.
think if we can, if I don't say we because I have anything to do with it. If the community, if the industry can really get together and really push that hard, there's reasonable people inside the integration office, the FAA integration office, that would be more than willing and are more than willing, obviously, to listen to us. Would love to see both of those, amended into the rules somehow or another. The issue is that this is a congressional mandate, so the FAA
Sure.
can't just say, "Boom, okay, shielded operations." They have to go back to Congress, and Congress has to do their thing, and it might be enough of a change where then they have to go through the NPRM process and blah 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 blah. Now they can make it a quick NPRM process, they can accelerate it. So, yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah, it's somebody said shielded operations just be ruled as non-navigatable airspace and
It
not
is
subject.
pretty much, yeah. Now you've got your exceptions. Let's say you're in an open field and there's a medical helicopter coming in. Well, you're going to know they're
Sure.
coming. If there's somebody in a 172 or a citation or something there, and everybody says this all the time, the drone is the least of their problems. If somebody in a manned aircraft is that low, that fast in your airspace, you're flying an FPV drone 50 feet off the ground, that plane is not going to give a whit
No.
about that drone. That pilot's trying very hard not to have to clean his pants out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You know how people are with
Mhm.
these things, and they sort of overstress on the exceptions, not necessarily the rules, but
Mhm.
it would just be nice to see them take notice of that, because it's becoming more prevalent. I saw yesterday somebody posted in one of the groups. It was a flight in New York City. It was a sub 250 gram drone.
Mhm. It
He
was
was doing it.
great.
It was an amazing production. I think, here's a situation where New York has the most ridiculous airspace laws. Obviously, since 9/11, they've hit the panic button in that. But you got a sub 250 gram drone doing what I consider an amazing advertisement for a restaurant.
Mhm.
That was so well done. And I've
It
seen
was
reckless
great.
things. I've seen
I
reckless things, but I don't think that was reckless
Oh,
at
no.
all.
I don't think so either. When I first saw it, I'm thinking, "Oh, Lord," because he's, down the road, and then I've read that it's, sub 250, and I posted on that. It's like, this is the perfect use case for sub 250. Absolutely. I've actually talked with that pilot now. He's a great guy, a lot of fun. He knows his stuff. He was slightly illegal because he could not take those goggles off and see it when it was up further away. But
Sure.
if you notice, about a third of the way into the thing, when he's actually coming into the restaurant, he's outside the restaurant just by the door, and his VO standing right there. He had a VO and she was co-located.
And that's one of the things. Those are some of the little details, because I missed that. I missed that when I was
Mhm.
looking, watching that video. And depending on how he positioned himself, because I was wondering myself, I'm like, how the hell was he able to keep the signal? I mean, because that was incredible. I mean, he
Mhm.
went a good little distance, but again, if he's right there by the front door, he's actually perfectly placed for
Right.
that particular restaurant.
Yep.
But that is an amazing use case scenario. But I just think that they need to, possibly New York, definitely their rules are so goofy, because you have the FAA, regulations, and then New York has its own separate set of,
The abrogation law. Yep. But they're working on that too. They had that architect killed because a building facade fell on her, unfortunately. but they're saying, okay, this is dumb. Let's use drones to inspect facades now. So the council is really trying to push that back a little bit. So that's kind of nice. I mean, it was tragic reasoning, obviously,
Sure.
but good could come out of it.
But that's one of the things. There's always something tragic that has to happen in order for somebody to say, you know what, there's an easier way, a quicker way that we can go about this to get things done. It's why work harder when we can work smarter. We have the utilities now to do it, but we never do it.
Right.
All right. Shifting gears here, talking about,
Sure.
tragic things, obviously. Building collapsed in Miami.
Ooh.
And I know a lot of people thought the best thing they can do is fly over that and, capture photos. And I don't think people really understand that search crews are going to be bringing in cranes. They have these cranes that have to move, large chunks of objects. And for every time they have to stop because of a drone in the airspace or down low was another minute that maybe they weren't able to find somebody.
Oh, absolutely. They stop work every once in a while and put in some really sensitive listening equipment. Hey, wait a minute, here's something. So they may put something down in a hole. You got somebody flying a Mavic or Phantom or Autel or whatever over it. Then yeah,
Sure.
they're that's a distraction. Miami-Dade had their own drones up. They were mapping. Like you said, there's cranes. There's all kinds of stuff that is in the way. And let's say they happen. I don't think anybody did it on purpose. I don't think there's
Sure.
that type of
No,
person.
they're not nefarious, I don't think.
But if they get this great picture of a body coming out, and, oh, cool, and they put it on the video and it goes viral, that's horrific.
That's terrible. That's absolutely
horrific.
terrible.
And then when the president was down there about that, they had a TFR. You know how many TFR violations they had?
Oh, I'm probably 0.
0 for the president, but a whole lot before that, and I don't have any data after.
I wonder why that is. Now, this tells me that if they had 0 TFR violations while the president was there, that the pilots operating over that said building had some form of knowledge. They were
caught, and Secret Service didn't want to let people know they were caught. That might be the way too. I don't know, but yeah,
I mean,
when the president is in town, there's a lot more enforcement. There's the president traveled with his own drone mitigation systems, so that might have had. I mean, they're not going to mitigate drones out of the air. It's going to be they're going to identify and you'll get a very unpleasant experience with some gentlemen in a black SUV. So
how does that experience go when you arm a drone? I'm always curious because being here in Florida, there was numerous cases where I was down south in Palm Beach and presidents visiting his the White House of the South, and I'd start on my merry way, and I'd look, check one website, and it's like, all right, and we're good. You go to ARM, and then DJI says, nope, there's a TFR. You get that big pop up, and you're like, oh shit. Like, arming the drone is it if it goes 5 feet off the ground, are they coming after you, or like what?
It depends.
What's their threshold for sticking their foot up your ass?
Depends how big the boots are. So the only experience I have is with Aeroscope. I helped here in Denver. We did some testing at DIA when they had a system there. So we took off. We had 3 drones flying, just really almost off the runway and behind a hill. And so every time somebody popped up above the hill, Aeroscope picked them up just like that. Not only the drone, but the location of the pilot. And so yeah, we play whack-a-mole with the drones, and we put all 3 up, and all 3. The second we had visual line of sight, boom, they caught us on it.
Wow.
So
that's only working on DJI products, Aeroscope, though?
That DJI only sees the Aeroscope systems. No, the other way around. Aeroscope only sees the DJI systems.
Okay, so you still have a good little hole. I mean, obviously there is some homebrew drones.
Others. That's just the Aeroscope. There's others. I pretty much guarantee if you've got telemetry coming back to your drone, there's a system that knows it's there. If somebody wants to know. They can figure that out. Would be the president. I promise you they're running something other than DJI.
So you're flying an FPV drone or some sort.
Mhm.
They're going to find you if there's telemetry going.
If there's telemetry, yeah.
If
Mhm.
you have data transition and back and forth, they're going to find you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now there's those out there that can really just lock down their data. But to what point, really? I
Right.
mean, you can't encrypt it so much. You can
Sure.
make it hard. There's a lot more data experts out there than me, but it's not the DJIs and the Autels and the FPVs and that kind of
Right.
stuff really that worry Secret Service and things like that for the presidential TFRs. It's the
Okay.
autonomous, somebody with 8 ounces of CMX or whatever, aimed there, and you push the
Right.
button and you leave, and they're never going to find you, and they're not. By the time they see the drone, it'll be too late.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Drone Service Providers
Sure.
Alliance, because you guys, this sort of came out of nowhere. All of a sudden,
Mhm.
one day, this came about, and so a little backstory on Vic and I. Vic and I have sort of, we've known about each other, but we never actually really talked until probably about a year or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
You had departed from Drone U, and
Yep.
about, I would say, 6 months after leaving Drone U, you founded DSP.
A
about
little
that.
before that. A little
Okay,
before that.
so this was
And,
actually in the works.
yeah. Kenji Sugahara reached out to me, I want to say about 3 days after the blow up.
Okay.
And I had no desire to have another non-productive time suck on my hands. And it took him about a day and a half to talk me into it. I love being
very
an advocate.
persuasive.
Kenji loves being an advocate. And we thought, okay, let's do this thing. And then since we're both, photographers, drone pilots, videographers, we all of a sudden got busy. So it's like, okay, let's wait just a little bit. So it took us a few
Sure.
months to get rocking and rolling. But yeah, it was in the works. Kenji just talked me into it. It really, honestly, it didn't take that much time because he's like, dude, you're doing this anyway. Let's do it. Let's organize and do it together. And then a few months ago, we brought Scott Schaffman in as well. So we've got 3 people that are passionate about the industry. We don't pay ourselves. We don't make any money on this. And so it's just it's one way for us to get back to the industry.
Okay, so it's you, Kenji, and one other person. Who's the third?
Scott Schaffman. He's out of Texas.
Got it,
He's with AUVSI, Lone Star AUVSI on
Okay.
that board.
Gotcha.
Good guy. Both of them are lawyers, and I'm just the pretty face.
So wait, Kenji's the lawyer? He's the lawyer?
Kenji, they're both lawyers. Yeah. Now,
Really?
they're not
I would have
necessarily
never.
practicing, but they are lawyers.
Okay. I gotcha.
And I think Scott actually is. And I have an art degree, so that's what I tell everybody. You're getting legal advice from an art degree.
Gotcha. Okay. Kenji never came across as a lawyer though.
Nope. You
Yeah.
wouldn't know it.
No, you wouldn't. And I was just wondering who babysits him some days. No, but
His wife.
he's probably one of the funniest people I've
Oh,
ever met.
He's hilarious. You should
he's
see
funny.
our back channel conversations.
Oh, I can't imagine. But he seems like a very talented videographer as well. I always see him rolling, doing something with commercials. So basically, you're scanning and watching for laws in states and seeing what legislation's coming down the pipe and trying to get out in front of it.
Right.
I know in Utah there were several instances where a senator
Let's talk
was
about Mr. Lee.
Mr. Lee was trying to put out a
Still is.
law.
It's, Senate Bill 600, the Drone Integration and Zoning
Yeah.
Act, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
We're still working on that. GovWatch has it, or GovWatch, I think it's called, has a 4% chance of it going anywhere. So odds are it's going to languish in committee, which is fine. We kind of figured it would. But we
Gotcha.
think Senator Lee is positioning himself to add it to the 2023 FAA Reauthorization Act, because it's every 5 years they have to reauthorize the FAA. So that's kind of what we're watching. We're reaching out still. We talked to Senator Rand Paul's staff. And then just last week, we talked to Senator Hickenlooper's staff. He's on the committee. He's actually my senator. So that was really nice. Myself and a couple other people. I won't say who it was because it's up to them
Sure.
to say. But he doesn't have the support. Senator Lee doesn't have the support to get it passed. So we're not terribly worried about it. And actually, one of our DSPA members lives in Salt Lake, knows the senator-ish. And he's going to try and get a face to face. If we get a face to face, I'm on a plane. I'm going to jump on a plane at DIA and go talk to him. And
You know,
let him understand.
you think it's just lack of knowledge? You think if it's just lack of knowledge and just fear, like he doesn't quite like it's one of those things like just fly this, just try it, understand what it can do. Like, you know what I mean? Like just hand him a controller.
At first, yeah, I think at first it was. He didn't understand, but there is. Let's see if I want to go here. Yeah, let's go there. There is UAM, AAM, Urban Air Mobility, Advanced Air Mobility group in Salt Lake, and they're really after him. Scuttlebutt is they're really after him to try and get the states to control that first 200 feet so they can do more research. But if you look at the 2018 Reauthorization Act again, there's a section in there that says, okay, the FAA needs to work with the states and with the tribal governments and with the local governments and develop these types of things. And if this bill gets passed or added to the Reauthorization Act in 2 years, that's no longer cooperation. That's just thievery of that first 200 feet from us. And then you're going to have companies like AirMap trying to sell it back to us. And I don't have a problem saying AirMap on here. AirMap would, AirMap's one of those companies that say, okay, yeah, we'll regulate it and then we'll sell it back to you. That's what they want to do. They want to be the conduit for the cities and states.
And it's such a scummy thing to do because when AirMap first started, they started out as a pro, I wouldn't say hobbyist, but a pro utility for drones, and they were really for people who utilize drones, and whether it be commercially or hobbyists. And in the past coming years, I don't know if it's change of hands and ownership or just greed, but absolute opportunists in the industry, I think, at this point.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Making money is the American way. I don't fault them for that.
And I don't fault people for doing that.
They don't have a nice product.
Sure.
I'm just not a big fan of theirs.
And
that very reason.
And it's one of those things where I never fault anybody for making, making money. Making money. I understand, like, nothing is free. Things have to be paid for somehow. But I see things such as, like, for instance, the Fly Legit guys. Right.
I'm not commenting on that. Just so
I know you're not going to comment
talk
on
amongst
it
yourselves.
But it was something that I noticed was the SEO. When you hijack the SEO out from underneath the FAA to where, obviously the FAA has a marketing company or marketing team that does maybe something with it. They buy a set amount of domains or they control a set amount of domains. But, these companies that buy out from underneath there, and then they, you got unsuspecting people just buying into this or paying, it's perceived as a legitimate site. I don't know. I feel like that's where I sort of draw the line where it's okay to make money, I think, at that point.
Right.
I really do.
People's ignorance. That's snake salesman or snake oil salesman.
Yeah. Snake oil salesman. That's what I would say.
That, Fly Legit is the most ironic name in all of dronedom. I mean, it's just yeah. Anyway, that's my comment on that.
I just don't understand how how the FAA doesn't secure certain domains with their naming in there.
It's a .com.
Well, no, I know it's a .com, but it's like, you have FAA in front of whatever website is, FAA Drone Register. Secure that domain, lock it down so it's, it can't be purchased, because you're a government entity. It's like you want to protect that. It's like something like if it had CIA in front of it and I'm buying, it's one of those things.
Quick,
they're going to kick my door in. But it's just one of those things where you want to sort of protect the interest of the people that obviously need your services or website or whatever the case is. I don't know. I just found that interesting. I've never gone on research spills as much as I have in the past week with the trust and everything, and just sort of fact checking everybody. Like, just, like I said, Greg, I've known Greg for a little bit, but I still fact check everything. I look at his site, I look at his track record, and I fact check it. And, and best of my knowledge, like from all of my research, he's pretty stand up, actually.
He's a very stand up guy.
Pretty damn good guy. So, I like, dealing with them, and, they've made the 107 recurrent test really easy. I was actually shocked. I was actually really shocked. I remember I messaged you. I said, hey, Did I do something wrong? Is this it? And you're like, and your response was, congratulations, you got your 107 again. I said, but wait a second. You mean to tell me they made the test that easy to take, but you got to obviously you got to go in person, take the 107.
Initially.
But the recurrent test is just that easy.
Yeah.
It was painless.
That brings us in line with manned aviation, though.
Is that what they have to do?
Really? No, they don't have to. They could make us go back and spend $150 every 2 years.
Sure, I'd imagine.
Now. But to what end? I like that phrase. To what end? They want people. A lot of people didn't renew their 107s. So why? Probably because they didn't want. They're only flying every once in a while, and nobody gets caught doing it. So why spend the money? Insurance, I will tell you that, definitely buy insurance, because that's why you spend the money. And just make it easy, make it more like a training thing than an actual test, because that's all FAA cares about. They want you to know what you're doing. They're about safety and education. That's their charter.
I liked that they improved the exam to be a little bit more in line with the current state of drones. There was more drone related questions on the recurrent than I had actually on the original test. The original test, I sort of left there and I was sort of scratching my head thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, wait, what the hell did I just take here? This hadn't. Well, that's sort of how it went down. But I think, and again, I took this test back when COVID, because my recurrent was due and all the facilities were closed. So I took it and it was pretty similar. And then for them to go ahead and just make it like that, I was sort of like, okay, I like this. I like this because, somebody who's busy and you have to stop, you got to schedule an appointment, go into a facility. This just made so much more sense. And your 107 down there lives with you indefinitely. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just all you're doing is stay current. Yeah. And the other really nice thing about the recurrency versus the initial is you could, let's say you got one question wrong. So you got a 98, 97, whatever it is.
Sure.
And you get that list of, well, you need to study this, and it might be 4 or 5 different sections.
Yeah.
You got one question wrong, but you have no idea what you got wrong. It's just, what sections you need to go back and study. It's like, okay, sure, whatever. With the recurrent, the way the new recurrent is, it's like, okay, I got that wrong. I need to go back and fix it. Oh, that's the right answer. That's why. So you're actually learning during the training as opposed to guessing during the test.
Right. I think it's a good step in the right direction. I mean, I can understand why, you still have to go into test facilities. I still think testing facilities need to up their game with just how the tests are presented. I mean, it's sort of hit or miss depending on where you go. And I think sometimes
you have to prove you're you.
Right, exactly.
So that's why you got to do it in person. Yeah.
Right. And I agree with that. And it's obviously you got to be the one that's actually taking the test, pushing the keyboard. I was trying to convince Paul. Paul's going to be taking his exam. He's been studying for it. So I told him, I said, just you got to just go and do it, because you can't make any money until you get it done. Right. You're on social media. If you use a drone and you're doing YouTube, it's one of those, you're in that gray area.
Yeah.
You're in that gray area. If you're monetized, you gotta sort of just go in that direction. And even if you're not monetized, if I'm not mistaken, if it's for furtherance, it's, you say ish. Clarify.
Okay. If you don't have let's say you go out and your hobby is photography, videography, whatever, and I'm going to go fly in the Rockies. I'm going to go drive 40 miles west here. I'm going to go fly in the Rockies. And I'm a recreational pilot, hobby photographer. And I go do that, and I do this really cool video, and it's like, oh, I want to show this to all my friends. You can put it on YouTube with no issues, because your intent was to fly and have fun. So you can put that on video on the YouTubes without a 107. It's not necessary. Now, if you're going to go fly and you're doing this monologue while you're flying, or in post, you do this monologue, it's like, yes, I bought my drone from whoever.
Right.
Okay. And use this code and I get some money back. That's a monetized.
So if you have anything for, affiliate or anything like that, and if there's anything in your description for affiliate, then you're furthering yourself.
You're trying to get people to watch your video.
So, and that's,
go to the links.
And I guess that's what sort of bothers me with YouTube. Like when I look around and I see there's channels all over the place that do this. and they probably I
They probably don't have the
know
107.
no, they don't have their
Oh, yeah.
107.
Yeah.
But I cringe with that. I cringe with that because I'm like, I had to go do this, you know. Like I
Mhm.
knew back in 2000 and what was it 2017, I had to get the 107. I had to deal with this, and I did. And it's like, you know, come on, you know, you're shortcutting. But there's not really there's no enforced penalties unless if somebody complains. Somebody complains.
Somebody
then you get
complains,
in
yeah.
trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I promise you, and I see this all the time in the forums. I promise you, there's not somebody at the FAA office
No.
or in their home now scouring YouTube looking for violations. The
No,
only
not at
time
all.
they do that is if there's a report, and they have to follow up each and every report they get. So that's
Right.
why they do that. They're not doing it. And a simple video is not a violation, by the way. It's not a provable violation.
No, it's
You may
not.
get a
'Cause they've-
letter, but that's it.
I've gotten letters that I've had phone calls with
Mhm.
the FISDO locally, and I mean they're pretty cool. I mean they just
Yeah, they're
reviewed
great.
and I stated the facts of whatever it was. I think it was I was flying at night actually.
Mhm.
And then he asked me if we had strobes and you know what we were doing, gave him the information, and that was
Yeah.
literally it. That was it. And I was done. And it was like, all right, have a nice day.
Exactly. If the FA reaches out to you, reach back. That's all
Yeah.
they want to do. They want to
Yeah.
talk to you. I mean,
Right.
you're going to end up like Mikey if you don't. Okay.
Yeah.
What? I don't even know what the story the update on that one is. I mean, I heard they came after him, but I didn't. It
I don't
sounds
know
like
where
they're
it's
not
at.
doing anything about
I
it.
don't know
right?
where it's at. I don't think anything ever really came of it, to be honest with you.
FA won't talk about active investigations. So if they're not talking
No.
about it, you can read into that whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's one of those things I would say you'd have to ask him, Paul, because only he would know. I don't
Make
really
sure you get the bleep button ready.
Yeah, we got one.
Yep. I thought
There
that
we
was
go.
funny when he was on your show. You had to bleep him. It's like this is Dobo, and he's bleeping somebody.
Well, you know,
I'm pretty darn impressed.
I have a limit of how many F-bombs per show. And you know, I've been toning it back a little
You
bit.
have been.
I've been toning it back because I'm looking at things more from a commercial standpoint. The more
Mhm.
you know, interactions I have with pilots in the commercial groups, and I'm trying to understand that aspect of life a little bit more. Yeah, you got to sort of carry yourself to a different tone. There's a
Right.
different behavior expectation, you know, when it comes to the commercial guys than there is when we're dealing with, you know, hey, just hanging out with the guys.
Right.
It's a different world. It really is a different world. And that's what I don't think people really understand today.
Don't change
that
completely
different.
though.
No,
You're
I'm
you.
never going to change. I'm
You're
still going to
you.
fucking curse, but
You won't catch me doing that though.
but I know.
Watching stuff.
But you know what, Vic? That's what I appreciate about, you know, you specifically. Like, you know, it's you're almost you're almost like Planet Fitness, so no judgment free. You know, it's a judgment free zone. I don't know why I just compared you to Planet Fitness, but there's that.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Oh,
Vic, man,
sure.
I appreciate you coming on the show tonight,
Sure.
man. You're always
Can we
welcome
talk
back.
about one more thing before I go?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Let's do it.
Okay. He's in the chat actually. One of
that?
the reasons I didn't go get Guinness today, because we talked about that. I was going to go to the store and get some Guinness. I didn't have time. Did you guys talk about the Guinness? Anyway, I love Guinness.
We did.
Okay, cool. There's a gentleman. He's more than welcome to jump up in the chat. I know he's in there from Ohio, who was shot at. His drone was shot at 2 days ago. Yesterday?
No.
Yesterday. 2 days.
Wow.
Yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. And then there were some issues when he landed with the particular individuals who were not happy with him flying.
Okay.
And there were other things exchanged. There's a story, and I know that Zach is going to go ahead and drop a link in the chat if he wants to, from Fox 8. Is it Fox 8? I think so. Fox 8 in Ohio. And it's active right now. I've been reaching out and trying to grab my my LEAP agents, so my law enforcement assistance personnel program, FAA agents. Talked to one, or left her voicemail for one in Ohio, and then my LEAP agent called me on his. He's just got back from vacation, so he called me earlier today.
So they
And we're gonna
shot.
try
They
and get
shot at
this.
his drone. They
Mhm.
shot at his drone. They were not successful.
No, they were not successful.
They were not successful.
Zach had frame of mind to go up and out. You know,
Smart.
If
Smart.
Up is always out of trouble unless you're under a
Right.
bridge.
Yeah,
So
right.
he knew he had to get out. Then he just went way out, and he goes, "Oh, I went way beyond the line of sight." It's like, that's okay. because
You
in
have
an
to
emergency
deviate.
situation, you can deviate from 107 rules. And I would say somebody shooting at your drone is an emergency situation. So more to come on that, and we'll just see where it goes. He's upset about it, rightfully so.
And nobody was arrested in regards to that. You shooting at it.
I'm not going to talk too much into it, just simply because it's going to be or is an active investigation. Don't want to sully it.
Okay.
FAA is not involved yet, but hopefully
surely they'll have to be
in
soon.
the next couple of days. Yeah, because the police officer took the report, then has to go ahead and send the report to their leap agent, and then the leap agent goes back to FISDO and blah 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 blah.
Right.
To make the decision. But based on what Zach was telling me on the phone today, he actually got really excited about it. So it's kind of fun. Not excited, yay, but excited because and he had to back himself off a little bit and keep talking about it. But it was not a pleasant experience, and I'm not sure I would have handled it well at all.
I don't know how I would handle that. I've always thought about that because living in Florida, we're a right to carry state. Well, not a right to carry, but we're a concealed carry state.
Oh, okay.
Not open carry, thank God.
We are in Colorado.
Yeah, well, I know Colorado and certain states. I just don't trust Florida men in general. Most of the time we're intoxicated. But I just always thought to myself, what would I do in those situations as I'm shooting a property in a rural area where somebody would potentially take a swing, take a shot at one of my crafts or even myself for that instance, because that's how people are just that uneducated and they think all the time. And I hear all the time, I'll be sitting in a restaurant and I'll listen, cause I listen, people are talking about drones and they're saying, I saw one in my house, I'll shoot it down. I know, I was like, you dumbass, keep talking.
Yep. And we're dealing with it here in Colorado too. About 6 weeks ago, we had a drone pilot attacked. And so that we are dealing with as well. That is, that will go on, and he's ready too. It's like, this can't happen again. Let's take it all the way.
And that's one of the reasons why when I do fly, I usually wear a camera on my chest. I have my I have an Insta-Go to. I just put it on the chest, and as soon as I take off, just press the button and let it record. Because you just never know what's going to happen when you're up in the air, or sometimes when your goggles are down. I've had people approach me, often, and most of them are all nice, really nice people, and then sometimes you get that one jerk that's just gonna keep pushing. You gotta land it and take your goggles up or look at them and say, hey, what's going on?
Yep.
So
yeah, I do that. I've got a body cam. I also carry bear gel. Not legal in all states. I carry bear gel if I feel the need. It's like bear spray, except it's a gel and it's sticky.
Okay.
Yeah, it's capsicum.
Okay.
Capsicum gel.
And what do you do with this bear gel?
Spray it in their face.
Oh, you spray it in their face. Not a bear. Not a bear.
Not a bear. A person. It is made for bears.
Oh, it's made for bears, but
I'm
it's
not
also
sure. We got bears here in Colorado. You got bears in Florida.
But there were brown bears. Nothing like your bears. Your bears in Colorado are assholes. The bears here are just like the bears here. They're sort of like, hey, no, that's a bit too much work for me. I'm going to go raid the garbage pail.
Exactly.
I'll leave you alone. That's the black bears here are nice. It's
they're
the deer.
nice here.
The deer will mess with you though. Deer.
Interesting. Hey, we have moose here now. You talk about messing with people.
Let me tell you, when I was up there, Sean kept telling me, hey, you got to be careful of moose. He goes, they're aggressive. They'll kill you.
Yep.
And I'm like, whatever.
So you were up on Swan Mountain.
Yeah. And apparently there's a lot of moose up there. There's a lot of moose up there.
8 feet tall at the head.
Oh, yeah.
You look up at moose.
They are they're huge. So luckily didn't encounter much wildlife out there. I think it was still too cold, but hopefully I don't ever have to have that happen. But yeah, bear spray. I'll have to remember that the next time I'm in the field there.
Remember, if you're attacked by animals, all you have to be is faster than at least one person in your group.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a problem for me. That's not a problem for me. I'm definitely faster than Paul.
You and Paul together. Sorry, Paul. You're done.
Sorry, Paul. You're going down. Well, we put a link. We're going to put a link to the incident in the stream notes.
Awesome.
So that way, when the show's over, if you want to go through and you want to read any of the notes along with any of the website stuff, Drone Service Providers Alliance. Also, you can check out the members of the DAC committee if you're curious about that. So we're going to have everything in the show notes so you can get a little bit more familiarized with Vic. If this is the first time that you're seeing his face, it's not going to be the last time, I'm sure.
Probably not. And please feel free if there's any issues you guys have coming up at state, local level, any of you people listening, reach out to me and Kenji and Scott. We can at least walk you through ways to handle it. That's why we're here. And join us. We're a volunteer organization. We're supported by members. Got to put that plug in.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, you got it. I don't think a lot of people understand how the whole volunteer thing actually works. Like most people think it's an organization. There's money. No,
There's
not really. Not really. It's slow going. Well, Vic, I will say for on behalf of everybody is thank you.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
You do,
This
and I
was too
appreciate
long
you
in
coming on
making.
tonight.
Absolutely. Y'all keep doing what you're doing. Get that
Thanks,
word
man.
out. Get that safety done, and keep flying FPV. And I'll keep watching you and see if I can figure out how to do it myself.
All right, man. Well, I look forward to it. We'll see you
All
next
right.
time, brother.
Take it easy, guys.
See ya, buddy. That was a good show,
Cool,
man. That was awesome. I was glad to have him on the show, and it's been a long time. It's been a long time coming. When he first was announced on the DAC, everybody's like, I gotta have him on the show. And I said to myself, he's probably gonna get bombarded like nobody's business. I said, I'll give it a little while. That's a good idea, because it gives time for information to roll out, and it gives time for him to get settled down to what he's doing. So that worked out.
So tell me, I have this link up here for this news thing, but when we play, if I were to share my screen and share the video, it wouldn't play the audio, would it?
I think it shares the audio. I think it shares the audio.
Play it for everybody.
Why don't we just do this? We'll just go to the right and then go ahead and share your screen. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm not really sure. It doesn't really matter. But let's play it. I'm curious to see what happened. So you try to share your screen, and I have it set up to share the screen. Okay, there it is. Wow, that's something.
All right.
Okay, so go ahead and play it. Let's see. I can't hear a damn thing, Paul.
You can't hear anything?
I can't hear a damn thing.
Yeah, that was what I was afraid of, that it might not play the audio from it, but
the drone shot in Carroll County.
unless I'm I wonder if I could.
Yeah, well, press play again. That's usually the first step in the right direction.
Well, I'll just see if I can change my audio settings to play out the
Let me see if it'll let me no, it doesn't let me. No, it's not letting me play. Let me see. Nope.
Nope.
So
nope.
you can play it.
I tried to download it, but
okay, well, you tried. That's terrible though. And it's one of those things I always get nervous, when, anytime I always get nervous with that. Being in Florida is like, somebody's going to shoot my shit down one day. I know it's going to happen one day. Inevitably, some fucking redneck's going to shoot my shit out of the air. And I'm going to have to walk over into their yard and then be like, hey, can I have my drone back and not get shot? That's what's going to happen because it never fails. Luckily enough, I've not really had too many Karens or confrontations though. Flying. I've not had too many issues.
What? There's nothing that you could do, right? If somebody shot your drone down, there's nothing.
My standard response is the one time I did get confronted about this. I was flying the Evo. I was doing photography and I was doing something for an agent. And the guy comes over and he says, hey, I don't want your drone over my house taking photos of it. I said, I'm not taking photos. I'm taking photos of this house. He says, well, I don't want you taking photos of my house, my family. And I said something like, I assure you my family's prettier than yours. Not the right thing to say because he about lost his shit.
Here we go. I got to do somebody. I didn't check a box.
All right. You didn't check a box. Let's hear it.
I never expected to be shot at. Zach Ryder of Rubber City Aerial Photography in Akron was in Carroll County Monday gathering pictures for his new business.
I was flying the beautiful fields and just capturing the scenery. It's a gorgeous area. I'm originally actually from that area, so it was nice to go down and fly.
His brother-in-law told him he knew the perfect area to capture the best shots of Lake Mohawk. So they drove on King Road and parked their vehicle.
I then completed my flight plan and put my drone in the air at approximately 100 feet. I got all my satellite readings, etc., made sure everything was good, and proceeded to start taking my shots.
He said his brother-in-law then asked him to take a shot of a relative's home who lived up the hill, so he did.
And the second I panned up, a loud shot rang out immediately. And I was like, oh my God, somebody's shooting.
He then zoomed in.
And I seen a man with a rifle, and I'm like, oh my God, Jeff, we're getting shot at.
He said he
Holy shit, he took a photo. Holy shit.
Wow.
and was able to land it safely.
As soon as we got in the truck, one man approached. He was wearing overalls, big man. He had a big black handgun.
He said the man was related to his brother-in-law and started swearing at them. He said the man then assaulted his brother-in-law, but the two were eventually able to flee. Zach told me he was concerned that someone could have been seriously injured. So he did contact the Carroll County Sheriff's Office and the FAA and is in the process of filing paperwork with both agencies.
There was people out on that lake. There was homes. Wow. Number two, if you're a pilot, not a recreational flyer, you know that you're not the only one in the sky. Right. That man shot between 6 to 8 rounds into the sky. There could have been a Cessna 172. There could have been a helicopter.
Peggy Gallick, Fox 8 I-Team.
Wow.
All right, so let's get this straight. This guy shot 8 rounds into the sky and missed the fucking drone. I think I know the guy's identity. It's a fucking stormtrooper. It's a stormtrooper, Paul. You fire 8 rounds and you can't hit it. You're a fucking stormtrooper
with a friggin' rifle like that. I mean, gosh,
Jesus Christ! And he's related to the other guy's brother. What the holy shit? God, I thought Florida was different. Fuck. Huh.
So, but at the end of the day, I mean, what can be done? Probably nothing, right? I mean, there's now.
Somebody's gonna stick their foot up that guy's ass. He's got you can't fire rounds. I mean, he's got him dead to rights. He's got the gun. He's got him. They blurred his face, but they know who he is. You're shooting the gun. He's like, I got you, you son of a bitch. He's fucked.
The problem is these people think that what they fail to realize is the air is not their property. If the air above your house is not regulated by you. That's when you're in the air.
Right, but people have a different mentality. Like, I hear this shit all the time. I'll be at Chili's and I'll be, sipping on my cocktail and I'll listen, and we'll talk about a drone, and then somebody who thinks, they're going to chime in because they know more about drones, and I'll let them talk. And then they're like, yeah, shoot it down over there. I put my beer down, or I put my Chili's Big Mouth Burger down, and then I have to educate them. And when the education process don't work, I go to the waiter and say, this guy's paying for all of our food. And then I leave. Fucking Paul.
We should try that next time we go out.
We should try that. We should just do that. It'll be like a dine and dash. Paul, I had a lot of fun tonight. Paul, something special is about to happen to you, Paul.
Really?
Isn't it? Yeah, something special is about to happen to you, Paul.
I don't know. I know that Kyle Watts and Jared are trying real hard.
I am so excited. Paul, because something very special is about to happen to Paul Feinberg within.
You're about to make me a new banner?
Well, we're going to make you a new banner because I don't know what the fuck's going on up here. I got
a nice little thumbnail logo now.
Paul, you're at 982 subscribers. 982 subscribers. You're 18 away as the crow flies from 1,000 subscribers. You did a hell of a job changing your avatar. We worked on that. We got to work on this, but I'm proud of you, man. You've come a tremendously long way. You fixed your white balance. You haven't ate a mic in a long time. I think you own now at least two shirts that I know of, a blue and a black Back to the Future shirt. I'm going to buy you a whole wardrobe of shirts if you don't fucking change them more frequently.
I actually thought about this. I should make I really want to make a one time at camera camp shirt, but I just don't know.
You should. If you don't, I will, and I'll trademark it. But I'm happy. I'm happy for you. So I guess here's my thing. I don't want anything from anybody other than if you could, and you say, I'm going to go to Paul's channel tonight. I'm going to go to Paul's channel and I'm going to look at his pasty ass. And I'm going to browse through this man's channel. And I'm going to say to myself, you know what? I like lights. I like big lights, and I cannot lie. I like neon lights. I like Kelvin lights. I like white lights. I like black lights. I like all sorts of way lights. And I want you to maybe click on the subscribe button. If you don't do it for me, do it for Ted Cruz. For Christ's sakes, do it for Ted Cruz's nephew.
Oh, gosh.
Do it for Ted Cruz's nephew. His back to I'm fucking drunk, Paul. I'm Ubering. Fuck this shit.
Okay. Does this really look like Ted? Who in the comments thinks that I look like Ted Cruz here? I mean, do you guys see this? I mean, I guess there's a slight resemblance, right? I mean, somewhat. I mean, come on. I don't know. I look a little fat too.
That is you, bro. That is God bless it. You are Ted Cruz's nephew. That's what you are. Dead ringer. Anyways, go ahead, hit him up, subscribe to my best friend Paul. He is undoubtedly.
I got on camera Sony Alpha Rumors, and the video is it sitting at 11,000 right now views.
You did. I saw that. I saw you were on Jared Polin today.
Jared Polin just put me up on his, but
I know.
I haven't heard from him yet. I'm trying to get some royalties off that.
No, you're not going to get anything.
No.
But anyways,
it's fine.
Anyways, let's see. I think somebody's saying that you need three more to hit 1,000. 3 more.
Is it going to happen? Really? Is it really going to happen?
I don't know.
Tonight?
Oh, B-Man's talking about the F4s. So I got to show you guys something. So check this out. So Joshua Bardwell puts out a video yesterday or today about the GemFan F4, F3 props. And I said to myself, you know what? I've been flying the F3 and F4 props for about 2 weeks now. And I said, he's full of shit. Now, I go taking off and I fly and I smacked into a tree. Ripped the prop off. And I mean, it was not a tree. It was like a limb, but I cracked the base of every single one of these props that touched that branch. This one's cracked as well. So I really do believe that he's probably right when he says that there's definitely something going on with these. I thought that they were going to be stronger. They're amazing props. I love the way they are, but they are just way too fragile. Way too freaking fragile.
Gosh. Oh,
way too freaking fragile.
Wow, guys. You guys, yeah, this is honoring right here. You guys got me to way over my look. I'll just here we go. What do we got?
Where you at? You're at your legal limit, Paul?
I'm at my legal look at this.
There it is.
1,100 or 1,011 subs, man.
That's pretty awesome, dude.
I'm over at that. You guys really bumped me up a heck of a lot here.
And don't just subscribe to do it because I said to subscribe, but do it because you enjoy lighting. Do it because you want to learn a little bit about watching somebody build a channel. I think that's the most important thing is you're watching somebody build a channel. You're watching them through their progressional stages, and then you're learning about things as you go. So, and he's going to continue to post content. And I'll tell you that a lot of videos that are on this channel, my channel, I didn't edit those all the time. I turned them over to Paul and said, figure it out. Like the Freewell video that we just did, Paul did that. So I gotta tell you.
If you, I'm trying to do, when him and I get together to film stuff for Original Dobo, I'm trying to do like these like vlog behind the scenes videos. So
Yeah,
like
you're better at the behind the scenes stuff than me because I'm focused on all the other shit that's going on. So
if you know,
well, Mel, you know what? When do you ever listen to me, Mel? Mel's like, we already did it because you told us to. No. Mel doesn't do anything without listening to me. Mel's the man of his own desire. There's that fucking fly again.
Well, it's too late for that, right?
It's too late for that. Well, you guys did it, and you did it on the. This is now
this. I hit 1,000 subs on this stream. It's like
this is the 40th Drone Brews.
You guys are amazing. You guys are awesome. That's all I gotta say.
This is the 40th Drone Brews, by the way. All right, that's gonna do it. We're gonna go. I'm gonna let Paul celebrate. I can hear it in his he's gonna cry. He's gonna eat his mic. All right, stay original.
I want you, I need you. You got me right where you want me, baby. Ooh, yeah. And who knew what you do? 'Cause I'm me cold in my tracks, yeah. Why don't you get up off of these high hypotheses? I'm not Socrates, I'm
No, honey. I got 1,000 subscribers tonight. Yeah, Ken shouted us out on the stream, and we hit 1,000. So
Cool.
isn't Ken such a sweetheart?
He's got to eat his microphone now. He's got eat your mic, Paul. Eat your
Eat
mic.
the mic.
Eat it. Eat it. Eat it. Eat it. Do it. Do it.
I want you, I need you. You got me right where you want me, baby. Ooh, yeah. And who knew what you do? 'Cause I'm me cold in my tracks, yeah. Why don't you get up off of these high hypotheses? I'm not Socrates, I'm not trying to be cool. I think it's time to change the scene. Ditch the limousine, chicks and cellophane. I just came to see you. They can't touch us, it don't matter. Calls and ruckus, what's who's got us? We got something they never heard of. We got original. We got original. We got original.
Oh, fuck.
What are you doing there?
Oh,
Like
you
coughing up a
son of
hairball or something.
I just called an Uber.
You know, that was a fantastic stream. I don't know.
I love you, Paul. You're just you Ted Cruz looking son of a bitch.
Ted Cruz, man.
Ted fucking Cruz.
I need all Ted Cruz's money. Then I can move out.
I'm gonna get a
crazy stuff.
Paul Cruz